bathing suit on. I got my cornrows, got the titties percolating. I can't wait to see how many suckers I can turn down this block of bars.
You think somebody gonna talk to you, C3PO? Well, may the force be with you, girl.
I'ma force my foot up your ass looking like a black Michelin man.
Hey, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna get my beautiful hair wet. Cause if I do get my do wet, it won't look wet anymore.
Hey, I haven't had a chance to turn down one man yet. Ooh, I'm gonna do a sexy run down the beach. That always gets them. Oh, man.
Damn, I ain't never seen a white girl with cornrows before. Oh man, that bitch bad. Something about the novelty of it, you know what I'm saying? It's like seeing a Bigfoot this morning.
I read this article in the New York Times by Rachel Drucker, and she talks about her experience on the dating apps kind of in relation to the male loneliness epidemic. Talks about a very real modern dating experience that I feel like we have all had at one point or another, where either you get a guy's number or you're talking to him on the apps and you're texting, you're getting to know each other, maybe you follow each other on Instagram, maybe he swipes up on your story, and if the conversation is going really well, there's no movement or action on his part to set a date in person and get to know each other in real life. In the article, she labels this interaction as directionless orbiting, which I feel like is genius to label it. I've been in this situation and it's so confusing because you think like, oh, did I do something wrong? Should I be making the first move? What's going on? Does he like me? Does he not like me? Did I just waste a week of my life talking to this person? So hopefully labeling it as this directionless orbiting can help kind of take some of the mystery and the frustration out of it.
Before we get into the TikToks of women complaining about this issue, let's go ahead and get into the original article. And this article is from the New York Times, and this was 3 days ago. It says, "Men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls, filters, and creative personas, dabbling and scrolling. We miss you." Go figure. Men don't want to go where they're not wanted. If women don't want men, and they've been saying that for the past 60 years, eventually men are going to say, we don't want to go where we're not wanted. And also, when you read these types of articles, you got to take it with a grain of salt because she's only talking about the men that she wants. Every woman knows a man that would give them exactly what they want. They just don't want that man. So they want the man that every woman wants to only want them. So when you read these articles, you got to read it with a grain of salt. Troy and I have known each other for almost 20 years. We met at Playboy of all places.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the word only calls God, and his name in Hebrew means he exists. And Yahushai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the word only calls Jesus Christ, and his name in Hebrew means he is deliverer. Bahashem is in the name of Kakodash, the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, peace and blessings unto the sister I can just push forward to the truth. Throughout the four corners of the earth, I want to say shalom to you brothers and keep pushing, and a double shalom to the Israelites that's looking like the other nations, Shawatium. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters as well. My name is Dewar from the GMS Lines of St. Louis Camp, and I'll come back at it with another video. And in this video is going to be entitled, "Where have you gone? Men, where have you gone? Please come back." You know, and I'm not doing this video for any monetary gain, just strictly educational purposes only. You know, so you had the guy, the Poor Man's Podcast. You know, I was watching his video, and you know, I didn't play the whole thing because he basically went through the article, you know, of how a lot of you men are not even approaching women no more. And these women, they in an uproar, you know. And that's basically what you wanted, right? You know, you thought men were creeps and men were just so evil and men are just not needed. You know, we listen to what these women say on the podcast, okay? They just straight up disrespect men, okay? And, you know, and particularly the Israelite men, the so-called black man, okay? We get no respect in this kingdom, especially an elect an elect or hopeful elect, you know, a righteous man. You know, the majority of these women, they like niggas and bums and, okay, quote unquote bad boys. All right. So if you a man of Yahweh Shemiah Shai, you don't fit in that category. Okay. You have your own category. You a man of moral and principle and standards, and that's just what the world just can't handle. They can't handle an Israelite man, a dark-skinned Israelite man who has moral and principles. You know, because the world is just so used to the Israelite man just being out of order and being emotional, effeminate, doing wicked things. And then when they meet a man who don't do none of that, they don't know how to take it. Simple, because they don't have power over that man. Okay, so they'd rather just get with. So these women, they just rather just get with a Pookie or a Ray Ray, you know, somebody who they can run over and, you know, and manipulate. Okay, and now a lot of men are just saying like, hey, we don't even want to approach women altogether because we're not really getting nowhere. Okay, because a lot of these women, they have children by different men and a body count from here to Italy, and it's just not working out, you know, or it just don't go nowhere. So a lot of men just say, hey, forget this, you know, I'm gonna just go overseas and find a woman. But even that's not working, you know, that's starting not to work, you know, because a lot of you men out there, you just want to have these women just for fun, just for, you know, just to say, oh yeah, I went to Thailand and I went here and there, you know, which a lot of lady boys over there in Thailand. You know, so be careful. But you just trying to just get a bunch of notches under your belt. Yeah, I hit her. And which that's wicked too. You know, but yeah, this is just set up by the hand of the so-called white man, you know, because this is not right. Okay, a man and a woman is supposed to become one flesh. Okay? And the way how Esau Edom got this kingdom set up, marriage is pretty much done. You know? So this is the end result of, number one, feminism. This is the end result of Eve. You are, you know, you're disrespecting and forsaking your man and the rest of you women on the planet that follow behind Eve, because, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, had this, you know, Black Dynamite, TV show Black Dynamite, and it's pretty much just happening now. You know, this Eve, the so-called black woman, she just wants to go out and turn down men. And I got a question for you, Evites. You know, what benefit do you get out of that? What benefit do you get out of going out and just rejecting a man? There is no benefit of that. You lose. You get nothing. Okay? In the end, you lose. Okay? And look what's going on. Now men ain't approaching you at all. You know? And that just goes to show you, like, the mindset of the black woman. Like, how she just loves attention. You know, this is a joke, but this is how she feels for real. You know, like, that's a badge of honor to reject a man. You get nothing out of that. And now you a single mother. Now you probably got a disease and all that. You know, you sitting on niggas' lap, cutting their hair and giving out diseases. And now a lot of Israelite men chasing after so-called white women now. You know, and marrying white girls. And which, be careful with that, because, you know, the white woman is the devil. You know, for you brothers out there that so-called eat at the White Castles, right? So this is 2nd Ezra 16. And I'm going to start at 28. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rock, as an orchard of olives upon every tree. There are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search the houses with the sword. All right, because Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he gonna come down with great wrath. Okay, it's called Jacob's trouble for a reason. And who's the main targets? You know, you 2/3. Okay, starting off with the women, because y'all the most easiest targets. Y'all the most vulnerable one. Okay. It says, the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough. The virgins shall mourn having no bridegroom. The women shall mourn having no husbands. The daughters shall mourn having no helpers. Right? So the virgins shall mourn having no husbands. You know, the women shall mourn having no husbands. Okay? Because a lot of you virgins out there, you don't have husbands. And a lot of you women out there, you don't have husbands. And their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. You know, just a damn house full of women, man. It's a house full of women making all type of stupid financial decisions and getting ran through. You know, got a dirty ass house with all type of abominations. Got a bunch of kids in the house who don't have no fathers, and it's all like that by design. Okay. Verse 34, and the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Right, so yeah, from what you don't know is a famine gonna come. And we are about to already enter into the war. You know, and even if you do got a quote-unquote husband, you know, which you can't really call the nigga a husband. You know, you just call him more like a sperm donor. Okay, because he ain't no fucking man. You know, a nigga that sag his pants and wear fitted caps and drink lean and got tattoos on his body. Okay. So yeah, hey, all those niggas gonna be sent off to the wars, man. Okay. All those niggas gonna die in the famine, man, and the race wars. Yeah, and this is all designed and orchestrated by the so-called white man. And hey, the Most High shows you that these women they not with you, and so a lot of these men say, hey, well, forget it. You know, we just not gonna even deal with women since we quote unquote not good enough. I guess it's like it's like reverse psychology. You know, these women try to like knock down your confidence. You know, hey, I don't feel good about myself, so I'm gonna just try to make, basically like nigga rig some confidence. So I'm gonna make the man feel less of a man by rejecting him, so I can feel better about myself. You know, that gives me some type of power. You know, it's some real sick shit that goes on, and that's evil as hell. You know, you think you women gonna get away with that? Amos 7:17. Therefore, thus said the Lord, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. And thy land shall be divided by a line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land. Right, so yeah, your wife is a harlot in the city, man. You know, and even these Edomite women, they, Jake is popping these Edomite women sneaking and getting with Jake, and committing adultery, and that shit is wicked, man. That's adultery. Regardless if it's an Edomite man or not, you still ain't supposed to take another man's woman. That is wicked. Okay. But hey, these women, A lot of them, y'all just gonna perish, man, because y'all just, playing these little stupid mind games and thinking that this shit is fun. And hey, now this shit is over now. Now you alone. And now nobody wants you. Congratulations, you played yourself. Isaiah 32:1. Behold, the king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. Right? So yeah, king. Starting off with the King of Kings, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay, and princes, which are the sons of a king. Okay. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a cover from the tempest, as rivers of waters in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Right? So yes, kind. Because when the so-called white men come down with a great wrath, you're going to be looking for a man. But a lot of y'all just going to be asked out because of the things that you've done to men. Putting them on child support, unrightfully. Okay. Just playing games, just being a whore, listening to Sexy Red, on top of cars and tables, twerking. You just out of control, man. Out of control. Verse 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Right? Yes, the vintage shall fail. So yeah, this whole system is going to come crashing down. And that's what the vintage represents. This system that's set up. For you get free housing, free meal, free food, food stamps, Section 8, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that's going to come crashing down. Okay. And even if you do, manage to get it, okay, like let's say you get the chip and then eventually, it's going to be so dangerous out here, it don't matter. Somebody's just going to break in your house and just steal your goods and probably put you to death and probably even rape you, because that's what's coming back too. Okay. A lot of these men are sexually deprived, and you women out there that do quote unquote look good, they gonna grab your ass up. Okay. I like the elder Malcolm from Chicago say. From you riding the cock carousel gonna ride you. Okay. Verse 11, tremble ye women at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins, right? All right, and so the Lord gonna strip you and make you bare, man. Okay. And yeah, a lot of y'all just gonna just be asked out, man. You just gonna be just left out there to fend for yourself. A lot of y'all just too far gone. Okay, y'all just not even worth it. It's not worth it at all. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Right? Because it's gonna get so bad out here. You women, you just gonna want a man. Okay? And which really, deep down inside, you always wanted a man. But the so-called white man done tricked you into thinking that you don't need that. Okay? Just because he wanted to divide and conquer. Okay? Because you gotta first bind a strong man. And then once you bind a strong man, and then you can infiltrate. So let's find that scripture. Matthew 25. No, it's Matthew 12. Yeah. And 29. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods? Except he first bind a strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Right. So that's what the so-called white man did. You know, he bind the strong man, which is the Israelite man, you know, with his diabolical plan, because the Lord gave him that mind to do so. And he did it through our women, you know, and we've been jacked up ever since, you know, because of lack of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, but this, you know, is coming back into the world, you know, since the truth been back into the world. Okay, because a lot of these red pill dudes, they just copy off of what the Israelites do, and then they just put their own spin on it. Because, you know, you got niggas like Cooley, okay, who else? Man, a lot of other dating coaches that do it, you know, Black Ram, okay, that talk about the Israelite woman, you know, and use the scriptures to do so. Okay, so yeah, man, like, hey, that's not gonna fly, bro. That is literally not gonna fly, man. Because you have to be a prophet, okay? Because a lot of you guys out there that do this, hey, you're not prophets. So then you gotta try to break down the scriptures. You know, you totally fumble. Okay, just breaking down scriptures wrong. So yeah, they leave that all to the prophets, man. So this is Proverbs 31. I'm gonna start at 10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? Right, and that's the question. You know, who can find one? I've never found one. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Right? Because a lot of you women, man, you just in it for the money, man. And they just trying to see just what you can get out of a man. You know, a free meal and all that. For you bitches out there that try to get free food. You know, I saw this this damn nigga woman that posted this video, like, yeah, like how I eat, and, you know, knowing that I'm not gonna get this man none. You know, I thought that was highly disrespectful. You know, because men want sex, and a man is literally, you know, like when a man is dating you and spending his money, you know, he's invested in you. You know, ultimately, yeah, he ultimately, you know, wants to pop you. You know, but a lot of you women out there, you know that, and you want to capitalize off of that. Oh, I ain't got to get at and nothing and the other. And that's fine. You don't. But look, in the end, okay, you're going to have to pay for that by thinking that you got a choice. You don't have a choice, man. You know, us as Israelite man, you know, the hopeful look, hey, we are prisoners. Okay, we are slaves. And how, like, you nigga women try to shame for men for wanting a slave, you know, a female servant, a woman. That's what a woman means. You know, you don't measure up to that. You know, you're not clean. You're not loving. You're not kind. Okay, you don't fit the criteria. So therefore, you're gonna get left behind. There's nothing else to talk about. You know, you're just gonna be another statistic, another dead nigga woman in the street that thought she didn't need us. Okay, cause shit, I need my power. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you. How about Shemel Shah? And you women, you gonna learn that, man. And which you already know that deep down inside. You just don't want to admit it because you feel like that's taking your power away. But you wasn't supposed to have no power in the first place. You know? So, hey, you will lose that so-called power that you have. Okay? You will lose it. All right? But I'm going to end it off with that. And I'm going to read it a little bit more. It's like you. It's verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is night and giveth meat to her household and portion to her maidens. Right? So she seeketh wool and flax. You know? So and how many of you women know how to sew? How many of you women know how to cook? Okay. Quite few. Okay. So with that, I want to say shalom.